And you're in them. That's great.
I'm in 'em, yes. Walking in front of your camera.
The real
You know
star
what?
of the show. Mr. Smoke and Whiskey himself.
Everything I say not to do, I do.
Do as I act, not as I say. Act as I do, not as I say. That's the saying. I haven't had anything to drink yet. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well,
Ready,
Just not
Captain?
you
feeling
guys
it
ready to
today.
kick it off?
I don't know. Maybe let's go home.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I mean, it's not going to be a
Okay.
significant loss if you do. I'm just kidding.
We ready?
I love you, Tyler.
No, you know. I'll fight you.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to our holiday edition of Great Stories Pop Culture Talk. It's just going to be one video. We're not doing a comic one. We're going to save it up for January, I think. So,
That's
so this
hilarious
is going to be...
because
Why? Why is that hilarious?
Because last month you guys were giving me crap about the fact that I never read the comics, but I always have something to say about them.
Yeah.
And
What?
so I said I was going to read some Independence comics.
No.
And I did.
What?
I
Did you?
I did,
Really?
in fact.
Oh, boy. Stop the presses, literally.
So, but
Stop
I
the
guess
presses.
since we're not talking comics,
Maybe we should give you a little bit of a, a segment at the very end of the show. You can share with us. Or maybe you can just save it up for next month.
that's up to you.
Well, anyway.
We'll let you talk with Ken about comics next month.
So, here we are, Pop Culture Talk, Holiday Edition. We're going to be talking Knives Out. Yes.
Yeah.
Even
I
though
left mine at
Thanksgiving's
home.
over and the food's been put away, but the knives are still out for this show. We're also going to be talking some of our Christmas favorites. All right, it is
Yeah.
December after all. We're on the march to Old St. Nick's entrance into our lives once again. So, so we're going to be doing a little bit of that. But before everything, and actually kind of Christmas themed, we have a toy drive. So before you, we have some toys that we sell at our shop. But we're not here to sell you that. We're here to get you on board with actually making a donation. Come on down to our shop if you're in the Uxbridge, Blackstone Valley area, and come in just with any kind of toys that are sealed in package. You can throw them in our donation bin. The benefit is for Toys for Kids and Teens, which is sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Veterans Association.
Yep.
So we'd love to have you come down and contribute. We have toys in our shop, obviously, that you can pick up at cost, that you can do that. But it's for a great cause. And we've already filled up our bin one time, so that was impressive.
good.
We've had a lot of very gracious people coming down and helping us out with the drive. So anyway, that is it. Without further ado, let's get into the actual movie and what
Right.
we all thought of it.
So,
Take it away, Tyler.
kind of seemed like a movie.
Yep.
So that was cool. There was a beginning, and then at some point there was a middle, and a little bit after the middle there was an end. So that was really cool.
Tyler, is this your gimmick coming through again?
What?
See, Tyler is pretending he didn't see it this time and
I did actually
pretending
see
to
it.
like
I
BS
did
his
actually
way
see it
through
this
this one.
time.
But he actually did see this movie.
Yeah, I did. I
Yes.
saw this movie. It was actually fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was very aware of the fact that it was a tropey murder mystery
Yep.
movie. So much to the fact that not only do they name drop stuff like Clue in the movie, but
They did.
the gentleman who was murdered, if you will, was a murder mystery writer himself, and that's how he made his billions or millions. How much was it? Like millions? I don't know.
Probably millions.
I
I think it was
Probably,
millions.
I think it was millions.
I
think it
like
said
in
$60 million.
savings.
$60 million
in
he
assets.
had. Yeah.
No, just in that was just in his bank accounts.
Okay.
That's true.
Then
had
he
the
also
publishing
had
company.
a publishing company, the mansion, and
Yes.
So-
Stocks and bonds
Yeah.
and servants probably.
So, but yeah, so it was very funny, like surprisingly funny for a
murder mystery,
movie.
yeah.
Again, never took itself too seriously. Knew exactly what it was from the get-go, and I thought it was very well done.
So it starts off, we'll set the stage here a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It starts off, you've got this cold New England setting, right?
Just
You've
at
got-
home.
You've got this very old colonial, or is it, no, Victorian
It's
style
absolutely
home.
Victorian.
Victorian style home, and it's like, it's even got those hallways, like they kind
slanting
of the slanting
hallways.
hallways that kind of give you that cramped feel, like there's, the house contains a lot of mystery to it, right?
Just like
And you
hidden
just-
walls, you open it up, and it's like, oh look, another staircase.
Yeah, exactly. Like
yeah.
There's
you
a
know,
false window here. Who knew?
That's right. You know, so this place is just chock full of surprises, and then it's a bunch of like, you know, rich, you know, type Yankees. You
Yeah.
know, Yankee family.
True blue New Englanders.
And it quickly gets revealed. Like the movie starts off with basically the crime's already happened.
Yeah.
The crime's already happened. So you're not basically waiting for the punchline, so to speak. The whole time. Not the
The
punchline.
inciting incident.
The inciting incident's already transpired, and it's the whole movie's basically sets a stage for the investigation portion. And what's quickly revealed is that the family members, so you've got siblings, they don't really seem to like each other all that much, and they're very different people.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You have Jamie Lee Curtis plays the oldest daughter. Her name is Linda.
Yep.
Something about all of the victims' children is they're all like self-made people. They're all really successful. You know, Linda has her own like real estate agency. Their son Walter is
Head of a publishing company.
he worked for his father's publishing company.
Yes.
And his other son, who passed away 15 years prior, his wife, the late husband's wife, still is a part of the family, and she's like a beauty guru,
Yeah, like health and wellness.
like
kind
like
of.
one of those like crazy like.
Like
you,
a-
you rub this aloe vera on your face and it'll clear your chakras.
like a
kinda.
Gwyneth
Yeah.
Paltrow.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a Gwyneth
Yeah,
Paltrow.
yeah.
We're not opening up that can of worms right now. It's fine. Yeah, they're all like they're all basically liars. Like the movie establishes from the get-go,
Yeah.
they're all massive liars.
That's right.
Some of them you can actually like a little bit more than others. Like they're not set up as completely detestable, but definitely in it for their own game.
They're
They
people.
are, and they're
Yeah.
gossips.
Yeah.
They're gossips, because none of them, I believe, or none of them seem to believe that their father was actually murdered.
No, that's the thing is
Right? They maintain that he committed
suicide.
But they're freewheeling their, you know, basically how, oh, this one had a major argument with
Yeah.
You know, this guy, you know,
with his father, you know, or her father, you know, that type of thing. So
Yeah.
they're all like throwing that little bit of, casting a little bit of doubt.
yeah, like everyone is suspicious, but no one really says like definitively like, oh, this person did it or that person did it. Everyone's kind of passing the buck, as
That's
it
right.
were.
Yeah.
And everyone's got a secret.
Yes.
So
Everyone.
that's the other thing
yeah.
that's
Actually, does
established.
Linda have a secret? I don't remember if Linda had a secret.
Linda did not have a secret, but her husband had the secret.
Yeah, her husband
Yeah,
had the
yeah.
secret. But
Linda was probably like the most likable person. Like,
Yes.
even though she was the first one to like really freak out when she finds out like the big like motivating twist,
Yeah.
that she still in the end you could sense that she was probably the one that had the best relationship with her father.
Yes.
And I don't know, I felt kind of bad for her at the end when it was revealed what her husband's big secret was. And yeah, but it was definitely interesting.
So let's kind of talk about the motivations of the characters. So let's talk Linda and her husband. So what was the setup there, and what did they do? What were their roles, and what was the secret that they had?
so Linda had a real estate company with her husband, who was her business partner.
Yep.
Um,
Which we believe,
Sure.
we're led to believe at the beginning, is a self-made business.
Yes, that's
Right,
the thing.
which
Is they
is-
all profess that they're all like self-made people.
Yes.
They got the loan from their dad.
Yeah.
Um,
More importantly, her husband has absolutely no stake in the company whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely.
She has
He's-
full control.
Yes.
And if so much to the point where she actually made him sign a prenuptial agreement that if they were to ever split, he would get no piece of the company. So that makes it extra troublesome for him when his father-in-law, Linda's dad,
The victim.
the victim, shows him that he has actual photo evidence that he was cheating on Linda.
That's right. So this is the father's 85th birthday, and
Yeah.
he's using the 85th birthday as an opportunity to basically inform each one of his children
That they're
or
getting-
heirs that they're getting nothing
Yeah,
from his will.
From his will.
So, no,
Or
no,
not
he-
just the
he's
will.
telling
He's
them-
cutting
Right.
them. He's
He's
basically
telling them
cutting
that
all
he's
their
cutting them
ties.
off.
He's cutting all their ties.
he only told one person that they were all getting cut out of the will.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
But he
Important
tells
distinction.
everybody
Important
that they're
distinction.
getting cut off, but only one person knows they're getting cut out of the will.
That's right. That's right. Important
I guess
distinction to make there.
technically two, but only one family member.
Yes. Yes. So, so you have established now that the husband has a lot to lose because if the affair has been revealed, he might be out of the family.
Yep.
And then get no.
It's a big risk.
Loses wife, loses everything
That's right.
financially.
They have a son.
Yes. His name is Ransom. Ransom or is it
Ransom.
which is only his middle name. His first name is Hugh, but the only people that he makes call him Hugh is the help,
Yep.
which he makes very clear to distinct and becomes a plot point later on in the movie.
Yep. Played by Chris Evans.
Yep. So that's Chris Evans' character, and he was the one that his grandfather revealed to him that not only was everyone getting cut off, but they're also getting cut out of the will. So,
Yes.
So there's more about him later on, but he is the son of Linda and her husband.
That's right. Moving on, we have then Walt.
Yes. So Walt is the youngest son. He's married to kind of his wife. You don't really see her very often, but she's very kind of liberal, standing. No, she's a conservative.
No, she's
Yeah.
diehard
Yeah, she's-
conservative.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it was the other daughter.
The earthy, crunchy.
Yeah. She was the more liberal standing, and it's great too because they do bring in like little quips of politics here and there. No way do they actually get into it, but they go to the absurd ends of both.
Yes.
So you have Walt and his wife that are like kind of more liberal, conservative standing, and then their son, which
He's an alt-right troll. They
he
describe him
gets
as,
constantly referred to as like an actual Nazi.
Yeah.
even though he's like just a 12-year-old tryhard.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
but he's very, very conservative. And then you have the juxtaposition to that would be
Jody?
Jody and her,
Was her name
Megan.
Jody?
And
Yeah,
her-
it was Jody. Jody
Yeah.
and Megan.
Yep.
which is the wife of the son that had passed away. They're both very, very liberal.
And Megan's a college
Megan's
student.
a college student.
With a
Her
liberal arts
grandfather,
degree.
her grandfather pays for her degree, which is again, liberal arts
It's
degree. So you
another-
have those two
Yep.
opposing.
Yeah. So, with the topic of Jody and Megan, the thing that, like, Jody's stake in this is that she's basically double dipping from her father-in-law's, giving to
True.
Megan.
Yep.
Basically,
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
the grandfather
Double
is-
charging for the degree, and one's
Yeah.
going into her bank account,
And the other's
other
going
one's
directly to the
directly to the
school.
school.
Yep.
So.
So he cuts
yep.
her off.
That's
so
right.
he's cutting her off from that. That's
That's right.
where that's her stake in this.
But
like,
then Walt's stake.
is he's getting let go from his
he's-
father's publishing firm.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And because and Walt is someone who had been promoting Netflix deals and things like that.
Trying,
right?
to,
Named,
trying to get adaptations for his
Right.
father's stories because they're so widely popular,
Yep.
and he's been running this company for decades on his father's behalf. And his father basically says to him, "He's like, listen, I've done you a disservice. I've held you back from making something of your own." He's like, it's not going to be a problem anymore. You're not going to have to worry about the publishing company. I'm going to release you from that burden and allow you to go do something for yourself. And he insists that he's going to, speak details with his son in the following days.
Yep.
But essentially, his son realizes that he's been fired from his father's publishing company.
Yeah.
That's right. So we've established a lot of motivation here. So with the three sets of individuals, or
Yep.
four, really.
Yeah.
Right? And so they each have a motive to kill,
The grandfather.
if they're capable of doing so, the grandfather. And then let's bring in the main character, who is the caretaker.
Yes.
No, she's
Or
Marta is
Marta.
The grandfather's nurse.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
He's not a caretaker is usually someone who takes care of the grounds.
I was thinking
Like a
caregiver.
caregiver. That's the
All right.
more
Caregiver.
appropriate term.
Thank you, Mr. Thesaurus.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, Marta's she is an immigrant who comes to she comes to America with her mom and her sister, and she now works for this family, specifically for the grandfather,
Yes.
as his personal nurse.
Yep.
She's
Her mother is an illegal.
Yes, her
Yep.
mother is an illegal immigrant,
she's
and we're not
illegal.
sure about the status of her sister, but I think it's kind of implied that she is also illegal.
Yep, probably.
I got the impression it was only her mother, and that perhaps they were both born in the U.S. but her
Maybe.
mother illegally immigrated.
Potentially.
So they,
What-
I believe
that's
they,
not the- that's
especially
not the
because
main-
she's a nurse, so chances are she does have all the legal documentation that she needs.
That's not really important. That's just
Yeah.
like that's set up for her background.
Yeah.
And like put some of the conflict of her character.
It does, yeah, it does motivate her throughout the story. The fact that if anybody finds out that her mom is illegal, she might get deported and it would break up their family.
Right.
So the irony is that the person who probably has the closest relationship to the grandfather is Marta.
Marta.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Marta has some interesting characteristics as well. Some amusing characteristics. Maybe
Apart
we
from
should
the fact
talk
that-
about those.
Apart from the fact that she's a really hard worker, and I fully respect her for that.
Has a really good heart.
She's a good-hearted person. She's a hard worker, and she's such a good person. She actually can't tell a lie without getting
Physically ill.
Physically ill.
Legitimately throws up whenever she has to lie.
And for anyone who has like a metaphobia, like that's like really hard to watch. Is watching a woman just get sick constantly throughout this
How
movie.
did you like? How did you? Like
I
that
just looked away
last-
each
yeah,
time. I looked away every time. Like as soon as I saw her, like
that last one with Chris.
as soon as she
We'll
like
get to that.
showed like signs of
that
getting
was
sick, I
that
just
was
turned
corny,
away.
and I don't mean in like a
A cheesy way.
cheesy way. It was
So
corny.
So this makes it very interesting because with an investigation going on and her doing her best even to hide secrets of the family,
Yeah.
she's having a real
She's
struggle.
having the worst
all right?
time.
And enter. All right, so this is not just an investigation being conducted by Massachusetts State Police either.
No,
No.
we have a
So-
private investigator played by
Daniel
Yeah,
Craig.
Daniel Craig, who I did not realize could do a southern accent.
He's right. He's done. All right. So we've seen Daniel Craig do a Southern accent, but not a Southern gentleman accent,
Yeah,
as he
yeah,
is
very-
performing in this role. But I love the fact that he's given a kind of a French last name. Would that
Yeah,
be
that's
correct?
that's
Yeah.
very Louisiana.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, Louisiana. But even though Hercule Poirot is not French, I believe he's Belgian. It was very reminiscent of that character, right?
Yep.
And so he's got basically all the qualities of that character as well from the Agatha Christie novels.
Yep.
Get a little Jacques Clouseau in there as
And
well.
his introduction is very interesting because he basically, through the first, I don't know how many minutes of the movie, doesn't say a word. He's just sitting in the background during the initial interviews
Yep.
with the suspects. And just doing things like announcing himself through hitting a piano key.
Yeah.
I'll put a key
Now,
in there. And
it's
in
important
post.
to note that this actually wasn't the first round of interviews
No.
between the police
Yep.
and each member of the household. It was thought that this was a suicide based on how
The body was
basically,
found. And,
It was found that the victim had sliced his own neck with a dagger.
Correct.
And based on like blood patterns and everything, it was basically confirmed that this was the case. However, the reason why Daniel Craig's investigator gets pulled into this is because he has received a anonymous payment and a note showing a news clipping of the suicide, essentially drawing him into what he is now suspecting was actually a murder. And his big motivation behind even investigating this is because he has no idea who actually hired him to investigate it. So now this is a secondary interview with all the family members as potential suspects
Yes.
for a potential murder, even though even the coroner was stating that it was in fact a suicide, although he had agreed to give 48 hours before officially documenting it as such. So now Daniel Craig has 48 hours to try and determine whether or not it was actually a suicide or if the victim was
There was foul
truly
play
murdered.
involved.
Yep.
Correct.
That was actually a very concise summarization of the movie, Tyler.
It
Well
was.
done.
It was actually very impressive.
Thanks.
So,
You wouldn't believe I didn't see it.
so early on in the movie, did you have any initial impressions about what might have been happening and who done it? You know, was there? Did you have
So-
any?
I honestly thought it was a suicide.
You honestly
You,
thought it was
you actually
suicide
believe
right
that
from
it
the
was suicide? Okay. My first thought when we started the movie was my initial thought was that it was Jodie, because I felt like her stake was like the biggest out of the three.
Yeah, and I've seen that particular actress whose names I can't not remember right now in other movies where she was insane. So
Yeah.
it kind of fit the bill.
So like she that's the
She
kind of
does
like
have that a little bit of an insane look. I agree.
it was the sunken eyes. It
Maybe.
was her Emperor Palpatine eyes.
Man, they got cream for that. I'm gonna fix that up. I'm sure she has cream for that with a health.
You know,
That's
maybe
true.
that's
Good
what's
point,
making her eyes
actually.
look like that, because it's all snake oil.
We're not going to advocate one way or the other for herbal medicines.
No,
We're just
we're
gonna
not.
neutral.
No, when the movie first started, I thought she was the strongest candidate for it. So like, it's like I thought she was the one, but like the other one, like the one they kind of like established like from the get-go is like being like the most suspicious is Ransom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like he wasn't at the funeral,
he
he wasn't at
disappears
the
through
memorial
a lot,
service.
good part of the movie.
He was there for the will reading though. Like that's actually the first time we see him on screen
Yeah.
is at the will reading. He's actually early for that. So like
And his entrance was pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
The way he was,
yeah.
the way he interacts with the rest of the family.
oh my god. So as you guys all know, like we all, with this one excluded, we all
Oh, thanks.
like Captain America.
I liked Captain America in the last. in
Yeah,
the
no, it's just
Endgame.
like in general, like the character of Captain America, you don't like.
No, I don't. I don't like the kind of.
It was refreshing to see Chris Evans be an absolute jerk to everyone.
Have you never seen
went
Scott
from-
Pilgrim?
No, I actually mentioned that to Chris on the way out. I was like, it's nice to see him in some like where he can just like be a jerk again because he's always like a nice guy.
Apologies for the pun and maybe a little bit of off-color language, but America's ass became America's ass. All right.
Yeah,
In this one, so yeah,
Where is that jar?
yeah, I know the pun jar still hasn't made it to the video
Here.
shoots.
use my cup. I'm just kidding. Don't use my cup. I actually need that still. But no, with Ransom like being in there, like it like they push it so hard that everyone dislikes Ransom. No one likes this character.
I like him.
Well, I mean, no one in the movie likes this character. Everyone dislikes him.
I mean, his nan seemed to kind of like him.
Oh, the great grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the great grandmother.
The best character in the entire
She was
movie,
great.
with a total of 3 lines, and most of them are the same line.
Ransom,
Yeah.
is that you again? Ransom, are you leaving early?
She provides the key piece of evidence, though,
That's true.
When she
in the movie.
When she snickers.
Everyone in the
one
theater
scene-
laughed.
Oh my gosh,
Everyone
I
lost their
it.
minds when
I
she
lost it.
snickers. It was so good. When they introduced Ransom, I'm like, okay, it clearly can't be Ransom because the movie's pushing it so hard, and Rian Johnson is like infamous for like subverting expectations. So like, it can't be Ransom because like the movie's pushing
yeah.
it so hard. It was like the
But then
biggest
you're like,
red
it's
herring.
probably
I
Ransom.
was really afraid that they were going to turn the Ransom character into the White Knight, though.
Oh yeah,
At one point, that's going to come in and help, the
because that actually like happens for a little
you
while.
know,
Is
the
he's
protagonist of the movie.
Well, actually,
Like,
so that's
ugh.
a bit informative.
Yes.
Essentially, we find out right away that it, in fact, was a suicide.
Yes, it was.
What essentially happened is, after the party, Marta takes him, the victim, the grandfather, whose name, what's his actual name?
Harlem.
Harlem.
Harlem, yep.
Brings Harlem up stairs. Harlem has had quite a bit of champagne to drink.
Yep.
And instead of going to his room, he immediately goes up into his secret study.
Behind a secret wall.
Where he
This house
insists.
is amazing.
Yes, where he insists on playing their nightly game of Go together.
Yes.
A game that he admittedly cannot beat Martha at. Which I loves that she states that it's because she's not trying to win, she's just trying to make pretty patterns.
Patterns, yes.
Which is just really funny. So
Very wholesome.
after a little bit of friendly back and forth, where you get to see a little bit into their relationship, and that
They're genuinely good friends.
she is genuinely a wonderful friend to him, which is really what
Yes.
he needed in his old age.
That's right.
She goes to give him his nightly medicine, which I can't remember what it was 100 milligrams of a medication that's supposed to help him with his,
With his pain, it was like a non-narcotic pain medication.
yes.
Yep. And,
and
then
then-
3 milligrams of morphine.
Yes,
help
to
him
help
sleep.
him sleep. But when after she finishes injecting him with the 2 vials, she then realizes that what she had injected him 100 milligrams of was the morphine,
Which is a big no-no.
and essentially that he would,
Giving him a 10-minute.
yeah, he would essentially be dead within 10 minutes if she couldn't get him the antidote, which she could not find, despite the fact that it should be in her med kit.
That's right.
Because it comes with the med kit with the morphine. So she begins to freak out, and Harlem realizes that no matter what happens, he's going to die. Even if they called an ambulance, it wouldn't get there in time, and he was going to die. And this is where you begin to understand that Martha has been left everything in the will.
That's right.
Absolutely everything. And Harlem knows this. Later on, we hear a few different terms thrown around, but one of them is known as the Slayer Rule, which says that if any heir within a will would have had any part in
the death of
the
I don't know, not the inheritor, but like the benefactor.
yes,
Yep.
they would receive absolutely nothing, even
Yes.
if it was by accident. So
That's right.
he now knows that because she has accidentally poisoned him, that when he dies, it will be found out through the toxicology that she in fact poisoned him. And whether it was on purpose or on accident, she would receive nothing. The will would be reversed back to the original will, which means his family would get everything, which he does not want because he knows that his family basically can't survive without him. And
Also,
he
they're
wants
terrible
better for them.
people.
And they're
That's it.
terrible people.
They're abjectly like
So
very unpleasant
he-
people.
Yes.
He devises in the very short 6 minutes of life that he has left.
Not even like it was literally within like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Because plots for entire books just pop into his head
Yeah.
at a moment's notice. So
He
has
devises this plan
got that
to
kind of
have
brain.
to have Marta leave in a very loud way so that everyone knows that she left, even noting the time as she left, like, oh look, it's already midnight, and she leaves. Then she must park outside of the view of the cameras, and come back and climb up through a trellis to a secret window that leads to the hall where that attaches to his bedroom and to his study.
Yep.
She climbs back up through, goes to his room, takes his cap and gown, and goes downstairs where he knows that his youngest son is outside
Smoking a cigar.
His son will then see her in his clothes through a glazed window,
A glazed window, that's right.
believing that it's his father and telling him to go back to bed, which is exactly what happens. So now, his father has been seen. Harlem has been
Up and
been
about
seen
after Marta
after
leaves.
Martha has left.
That's right.
And so she then goes back down through the trellis and leaves, thus making it look like basically giving her an alibi.
Giving her an alibi. That's right.
However, the last part of the whole thing is that he must kill himself so that nobody suspects that he was
That
poisoned.
there was foul play.
That's right.
So he, lying on the bed in his study,
Yep.
slices his own neck and kills himself.
Yep.
So that she will not be found to have had any part in his death.
That's right.
Even despite the fact that he would have had an increased amount of morphine in his system,
Yep. but thinking that they wouldn't even bother with potentially a toxicology report,
Right.
because it would
Because
have
it
been
would have been
obvious what
suicide.
his right.
Exactly. So that's what happens, and that's how he dies. He does in fact kill himself, but he does so to save
To protect
Martha
Martha.
from having been the one to have killed him,
Yes.
so that she can in fact.
Inherit all
Inherit.
this stuff because she has no idea that she is now the sole inheritor of his entire fortune.
Yes.
She has no idea about this.
Nope.
So later, when the will is read, and it's like, your father actually changed his will a week before he died, blah blah blah. They're reading through the will. It was Mike from Breaking Bad, by the way. Was the guy who read the will? He's reading it, and it's like, to Marta, the house and all the business and assets go to Marta, and then they're like, this is still our house, and it's like,
yeah.
actually, the house also goes to Marta, and Marta's like, what? Everyone's freaking out. It's madness. Chris Evans is laughing because he just hates everyone and wants to watch his family burn.
Yep.
It's
But then also he's laughing because
Turns out that this mystery gets even deeper as our Daniel Craig, our investigator, continues to
Inspector LeBlanc.
yes, as he continues to unfold the lies that have wrapped around this particular case. He comes to the same issue that he has, that he can't figure out why he was hired to investigate this in the first place. I mean, from the outside, it looks like it was a suicide. Everyone basically agreed on that.
yep.
Even in that case, the will would still go to Martha. So
It's
who
the
was
hole in the donut, inside the hole of the donut, inside another
yeah,
hole of the donut.
that was a great scene. That was fantastic.
Dang.
So we actually find out throughout the course of the movie as essentially Chris Evans' character, Ransom, kind of coaxes Marta into telling him what truly happened. She reveals why he ended up killing himself and about the accidental medicine switch, and he attempts to help her avoid the investigation so that she doesn't get found out, up to and including following a lead on a blackmailing that she receives from Fran, who is the housekeeper,
Yep.
who sends her a letter basically stating, not under her name, under mysterious circumstances, sends her a letter showing the header for the toxicology report saying, I know what you did. And when she meets up with Fran, she's actually dying. She has been injected with morphine, and she
From Marta's bag. That's
from Marta's bag. And as she begins to die, Marta's trying to help her, and she's speaking of this secret place in the house where she likes to stash things. And in this particular case, a toxicology report, but also other things.
Yep.
Let's just case the joint, okay?
And she says to Marta, "You did this. You did this."
You did this.
But because Marta is a genuinely good person, and despite knowing that if she doesn't flee, she could be
Caught and found out.
and end up going to prison. Her mom could end up being deported,
Yep.
and everything. She stays, calls 911, and does her best to help stabilize Fran,
That's right.
so that she'll survive.
That's right.
And so then we get to the big reveal where Daniel Craig has finally
Cracked the case.
gotten everything together, and he starts revealing everything. And he does this really interesting thing where, as he's talking, he's got a vial of the morphine and a vial of the pain relief medication,
Yep.
which basically look exactly the same, which is how she mixed them up in the first place. And you watch him as he puts these white stickers over the labels, and he places them back down, and he's talking to her, and he asks her to bring him the morphine. You watch her walk over, and she picks up a bottle, and as she lifts it up, she pauses for a second, puts it down, and grabs the other one, and then brings it to him without looking. And he says, well, how did you know which one was the morphine? She was like, I don't know, I just did. And he peels back the sticker and reveals it is in fact the morphine. Well, it's because the morphine and the medication are just slightly different in their viscosity.
Yep.
And because she's such a good nurse, she could tell the difference just by feeling it.
That's right.
The reason why he's able to come to this conclusion is because he does in fact find the toxicology report that was hidden by Fran, and it shows that there was not an increased amount of morphine in
his system.
yeah.
So
in
Harlem
system.
died for nothing.
So in fact, Harlem was never poisoned, and the sad part is that if he had just listened to Martha and allowed her to call for an ambulance, he would have been fine. But he instead took his own life. Now we get into what exactly happened that night for real. As it turns out, Ransom was the first one to return to the house during the party. He switched the vials by literally pulling with the syringes all of the medication out of both bottles and injecting them into each other, so that Martha, who he knew would be the beneficiary because his grandfather revealed that to him, he knew that it would be found that she was the one who injected him with the morphine, thus killing him, and he would get his inheritance.
That's right.
It's only after that, after everything unfolds and everything's going according to plan, the next morning when he wakes up and finds out that there's been a death and that it's a death by suicide, he knew that something was wrong. So now that everyone thinks it's a suicide, he needs to actually put a new plan in action to make sure that she is framed for a murder. Otherwise, it doesn't happen.
And I believe he finds out at the restaurant.
Yes.
Because he goes to the restaurant with Marta to befriend her and to be the sympathetic ear, and discovers that she admits to
Accidentally
giving him,
injecting him with the morphine.
right, when he knows that wasn't really the morphine. So toxicology report's going to come back not in their favor, not in his favor.
Exactly.
So now he needs to make this, repin something back on her again.
Yep. So
Take two.
he essentially attempts to once again set up everything so that she can now be framed for Fran's murder.
Yes.
Thus showing that she in fact had a part to play in the death of
Correct.
Harlem. Again, trying to show that she's just trying to get the money, and but it doesn't work because unfortunately for him, she reveals that Fran in fact survived, that she did not die.
She gets the phone call from the hospital.
So she reveals this to him, and he essentially says, well, you know what, yeah, I might have tried to kill her, but I guess she didn't die. So at worst, I'm only going to get a few years for, such
Attempted
and such
murder,
That's right.
and arson,
Yeah.
because he
He
burns down the
figures the jig's
toxicology
up.
building. He's like, you know what? I got a good lawyer. I can handle it. I'm fine. She's still going to jail. I can destroy her.
And
Yep.
then the
And then-
best part of the film, she throws up all
Projectiles
over his
vomits
face.
on him. It was disgusting.
It was wonderful.
To which it dawns on him that she was, in fact,
Lying.
Fran had died, and he just confessed to her murder.
And the arson and everything in front of 2 policemen, a private investigator,
That's
and
right.
an eyewitness.
And so what does he do in an act of desperation?
He attempts to kill her by taking a knife from this beautiful, is a work of art. Is basically this wire
Based on one of his works.
yeah, based
It was like a
on
wire framework with
with
knives.
just knives all
pointing inward to
in the
his
same
chair.
direction,
Yes.
which during the investigation phase, each time someone was sitting in the chair, it just looked like all the knives were pointing at them.
Yeah.
So it was very
Very artistic, very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. He attempts to take one of them. Now, this was an awesome throwback to a line in the beginning of the movie when Harlem is speaking with Martha about Ransom and about how they're very alike in a lot of ways, but at the same time, like, there's so much about Ransom that makes him different. And one of the things that he says as a throwaway line is that the boy never learned to tell the difference between a stage knife and a real one. And so, sure enough, when he goes to stab Martha,
It's this whole thing. There's like he like leaps over. Everyone's like diving to protect
Yes.
Marta. She's falling back. You see the knife like going down. They impact. He's on top of her, and like you see the knife like buried to her.
Yes.
Buried to the hilt.
Yep.
And he like he pulls it out. There's no blood. And he's like slowly pushing it in, and you
can
see the
hear
blade.
you can hear the spring in the knife. And he goes, "Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh."
And he's like, huh.
Expletive.
And then he gets torn off of her.
Yep.
And it's like,
Oh, so good.
it was a fantastic reveal. I
Yes.
hope you guys enjoyed us spoiling pretty much the entire movie for you. We should really just, we really should just call this like ending explained rather than like.
Yeah, well,
Hey, you know what? We're summarizing great stories.
We are summarizing great stories
That's
here.
not a pun because that's exactly what we're doing.
So,
Yeah, but you know it was.
No.
what did you think of the performances by the actors?
Oh, they were
like-
great.
Good. I enjoyed
You know
it.
what? They were
Well
hammy.
cast.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They were hammy, but like
Yep.
Tyler said at the beginning, this movie knows exactly what it is.
It was
Yep.
So
very
the hamminess
self-aware.
of all the characters,
Yep.
like plays into like the playfulness of the genre. It's like it's entertaining.
Yep.
Like, you know, Tyler mentioned Clue earlier. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the Clue movie back in the '80s. Like it was.
And it was great too because I believe it was Linda's husband that was like, you know, this. Look at this place. It's basically. Oh no. It was one.
It was
of
one
the
of the cops.
One of the cops. Like, this place looks like it's straight out of the. Out of
At,
Clue.
like straight out of Clue.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
the Clue movie also took place in New England.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it was just like this nice little tongue-in-cheek
Mm-hmm.
reference to Clue. It was like
When Ransom sees the investigator and he goes, "Oh, who's this guy?" and he explains who he is, and he's got that deep Southern drawl, and he's like, "NCIS KFC."
CIS KFC,
CSI KFC.
Oh, CSI KFC.
and Daniel Craig is just like having none of this. He's just like, I've already had enough of this kid. I want him dead.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a well executed movie.
That was fantastic.
And,
I did enjoy it.
And I know a lot of people, and when I was asking people, hey, you gonna go see this movie, and they're like, Rian Johnson movie? Don't think so. You know.
Yeah.
You know
all this
what?
other stuff,
With
'cause they're all
the whole thing about like Rian Johnson's like subverting expectations thing for a murder mystery, like that's kind of actually an okay
Yeah, it was
thing
good.
to do.
They did. They did a
Like
good
it's
job.
actually
Absolutely.
a perfect genre for like subverting expectations because that's what a good murder mystery does.
correct. Exactly.
So I was totally on board with the subverting expectations because in murder mysteries they're just called red herrings.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
That's
good.
right.
Yeah, I
Communism
would
is
definitely
just a red
say.
herring.
I would definitely say. Maybe you should probably put this at the beginning of the video too. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's a
Anytime we talk
fantastic
spoilers,
movie.
I put a spoiler warning at the beginning, like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's
we're
gonna be one of
gonna
those
it's-
like
it's
stop
worth
right
seeing,
now if
though.
you're watching this
Yeah.
and go see the movie first, and then
skip to
come
this
back
time
and-
code. We've passed all the spoilers.
Yep.
It's the recommendations.
All of the spoilers, right? The explanation of the entire plot of the movie.
Yeah, no, I do put those into our videos now because we talk so many spoilers
I
now.
quite
We do.
enjoy it.
We do.
I mean,
Well-
we could probably kick it up a notch and just like act the whole movie out.
I
think
put
that's the
that
next
behind me. I
step.
don't act out whole movies anymore.
I remember the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the trip on the way to
Not my proudest
Agawam.
moment.
That was fantastic. That was
I'm
some
not even
real-
gonna ask.
I will tell you after.
Yeah, it was,
Um,
it was good.
So yeah, long and short,
Mm-hmm.
this was a great movie. We all enjoyed it. We're giving it
Yes.
thumbs up from all of us. If you haven't seen this movie, go see it or don't. That's up to you.
Yep.
But yeah, like
What's not to like, really?
I mean, it's a fun campy murder mystery.
And it was refreshingly absent of the plot holes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have to say, it was
there
a
was
pretty
no loose
tight.
threads.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very
There was
tight
no,
script and
there
very.
were no holes in the donut, if you will.
There were no holes in the donut.
It was just a solid pastry. It was a solid pastry with gooey red jelly in the middle.
So let's turn our attention to Christmas fare. So I know this one in the middle, bah humbug.
Not really. No,
Right.
he's not a Scrooge. It's just
He's-
not his favorite time of year.
I got kind of a Scrooge feel from his reaction. I know he defended himself a little bit off
All
camera
the media.
about it, but it was kind of like, yeah, Christmas is not my favorite holiday.
What is
And
your
I'm
favorite
like-
holiday?
Yeah.
I'm not a holiday guy in general. I don't really do holidays.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do you, man.
Yeah, I don't really like if I got friends and family that are all like celebrating it and stuff, I'll join them. But like, I don't go out of my way. I don't do like decorations and stuff.
Okay.
I
Unless you
think
put schnapps on your tree.
well, not just schnapps, but that's a story for a different time. Probably not for our YouTube.
No.
That's how you get your videos demonetized.
So, even though Christmas may not, or holidays may not be your thing, are there any Christmas-themed movies that you particularly enjoy?
Die
Or
I was gonna
shows?
say he's gonna say Die Hard.
Die Hard, of course. I just saw a Die Hard plush toy the other day. A picture of one. It was like Bruce Willis plushie. I was like, it was like
Was
the
it just his
oddest like
face, like, painted
product
onto a
placement I've
ragdoll?
ever seen.
That's great.
I would have got one if it was a
That's
Hans
what I was
Gruber.
thinking. Yeah, Hans Gruber.
Shoot, you squeeze his hand, it's like shoot the glass. I would pay money for that.
Hans Gruber pancakes.
Maybe. They were Belgian waffles, maybe.
Maybe. So okay, so Die Hard.
So
You just-
If you haven't seen Die Hard yet,
my
what are
two
you doing with
favorite
your life?
movies to watch. My two favorite movies to watch during the holiday season, if you will, is It's a Wonderful Life, which I
Yep.
blame on my father because we watch it like every year with him, and it's a genuinely good movie. I do enjoy it, and Tangled.
Tangled. How does Tangled? All right, I'm curious.
Have you met my brother-in-law, Shane?
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
a bit of a goofy prankster, if you will. He likes to play little jokes and stuff. Nothing too crazy.
I don't
but
know
likes-
that about him, but okay.
Yeah, he
I
can
believe
be,
it.
He can be a little bit of a goof sometimes. And
Alright.
it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. He bought me as a gag gift a copy of Tangled on DVD.
Joke's on you. You love that movie.
I hadn't seen it.
Joke's
at that
on him
point.
yet. He
I
loves
had
that
not.
movie.
I had not seen it at that point, but I popped it in and it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. So every single year on Christmas, I watch Tangled.
Okay, that's fair.
Chris, how about you? What's a couple of holiday movies that you watch every year and would highly recommend to people?
I mean, I am a huge fan of the stop motion classic
Rankin
stuff.
Bass stuff,
I've
yeah.
seen
You know,
4
like
million
that's-
times and definitely aren't detrimental to my enjoyment of Christmas.
It never gets old watching these. You know, watching the Isle of Misfit Toys and the Rudolph special. You know, Frosty the Snowman, all those. You know, my favorites, the Heat Miser and Cold Miser. Those characters. Just,
That's my dad's favorite one, too.
yeah. Year Without a Santa Claus,
Year
right?
Without a Santa Claus is my
Yeah.
dad's favorite Rankin Bass special.
Those are absolutely, although I think last year at this time when we had this Christmas talk, I kind of concentrated on that one. So I'm going to go with like one that might not rank up there with too many folks.
Jack Frost.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad in
Oh,
Jingle All the Way.
All right,
You
fair
get
enough.
young Anakin Skywalker, even worse bad actor.
Yes.
I want the Turbo Man figure.
Turbo Man.
Yep.
Even though my father is a living action figure, I want this small plastic one instead.
Yes.
That was a
Exactly.
good movie. That was a good movie.
Jingle
was
All
all
the
right.
Way was, I mean, it's not the best movie in the world. It really isn't, but
You know what the
there's
best part
a
about that
certain
movie
charm to it.
is Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman is fantastic.
Phil
in that
Hartman is the
movie.
best
God
part of
rest
that
his soul.
movie.
God rest his soul. Yep.
He was the slimy neighbor who always, in every show he was in, he was always the slimy character.
What do you mean?
I cannot. I can't put a face to the name. I'm not
Do you remember
gonna
the Kirsten Dunst in Small Soldiers?
lie. Okay.
Oh,
You know what?
gosh.
It's fine.
All right, so Phil, how about you? What
Um,
holiday gems or chestnuts, as it
So
were?
I
there
do
for you?
love It's a Wonderful Life. My brother and I watch it every year.
Yep.
That whole thing started because we wanted to see how long we could stay awake on Christmas Eve, like 2006 or something like that.
Actually,
Yeah.
Reggie.
I know, right? I don't have to go to bed now. It's Christmas Eve.
Gonna see Santa.
So my brother
I'll
and I
fight him.
watched. We basically, like, when we went to bed, we turned on our TV in our room and we watched It's a Wonderful Life, like the
Yep.
entire thing. And just like every year since then, we've watched It's a Wonderful Life on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
It's a tradition my brother and I do. My parents go to bed, my sister goes to bed. It's fine. Two dudes just hanging out watching a good Christmas
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't go wrong.
And it's just a good, like Tyler said, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's
like it's
fantastic.
genuinely
It's
like one
enjoyable.
of the best movies I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
Another one. I didn't watch the movie growing up as a kid. Like I found out about it within the last like 4 or 5 years, and I watched it because it's such a bad holiday movie. Is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
It
What the heck
is
is that
pretty
one?
good.
It
That was
is
pretty
a
good.
trash fire of
was
astronomical
pretty funny.
proportions,
Is it?
and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's literally written by the guy who wrote Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. It's that song spread over a 90-minute animated film.
It's an animated film.
It's
okay.
an animated kids film.
All right.
Like they have to like track down like Santa to the North Pole, and they find out that like he brought Grandma back there to like help nurse her back to health, and it's
How old is this movie?
I want to say early 2Ks, maybe late
Like
90s.
maybe
at the-
2001 or 2002.
It had to be
Okay.
early 2Ks because the animation style is like it's better than like what we got in the 90s, but
Cheaper.
yeah.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up.
It's
I've never
so
heard of
bad,
that
but
one.
it's so funny. Like you have to watch it with the mindset that this is a dumb, cash grab Christmas movie,
Yeah.
but it's so funny and so bizarre.
Are there any popular voice actors in this movie or actresses?
The guy who sings "Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer" plays Grandpa. That's literally the only.
I like how you say it, the guy, because you don't know.
I
His
don't
name.
know the name of the guy who sings the song, but it's that
Okay.
like Grandma, like that
Yeah.
guy plays the grandfather.
All right.
That's the most I can tell you guys.
So it's a southern fried,
Southern fried grandpa. Yeah.
southern fried Christmas special, basically.
I guaranteed will be watching at least once or twice 8 Crazy Nights during the holiday season.
Okay.
You know what?
Adam
Yeah, you
Sandler
did that
special,
during
yep.
our company
Okay.
holiday party too.
Yeah,
We're
it's absolutely fantastic. One of
Yep.
the better Adam Sandler movies, in my personal opinion. I quite enjoy it. And
You know what? I'll give you that.
I like to
I'm just not
give-
an Adam Sandler fan.
I like
so.
to give equal footing to all the holidays during this season. So
I mean, I give you props for that.
that's my Kwanzaa movie.
Kwanzaa.
I'm not even sure if there are
Cut
any
it
other
out.
Kwanzaa movies.
Is there a Kwanzaa? There,
Leave,
I think
leave in
there's
the
a
comments
Kwanzaa
if
movie
you got a
somewhere.
good Kwanzaa movie. Let me
There
know.
actually
to,
is
like,
a Kwanzaa special.
Let us know if
Is
there's a
there?
Kwanzaa
It's an
movie
episode
out
of The
there.
Proud
Put that in
Family.
the comments.
Yeah.
There was an episode of the Disney show The Proud Family that like dealt with Kwanzaa.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was the dad Oscar was he was kind of a deadbeat, and he didn't have money for Christmas, so he decided to do Kwanzaa instead because it's not about gifts, it's about family, and his family was like, "What is this?"
No, clearly I meant Hanukkah when I said 8 Crazy Nights, but
Obviously,
We
like-
knew.
okay,
We knew.
just making sure.
Yeah, he's not that ignorant, people.
Because
He's
people
that
are like,
ignorant.
isn't the Proud Family not about a Jewish family?
Oh, they're an African American family.
So I didn't want to confuse people. Just decided to make that clear.
Okay, like you were confusing me there for a second with that comment.
So some movies haven't been mentioned that are considered classics.
Oh, of course.
By
But there are so
the
many,
large
like-
majority of Americans.
Bad Santa?
The Bad Santa was not one of the ones I was thinking of.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking
Santa
more
Claus?
like, the Santa Claus. I was going to mention that one with Tim Allen, which spawned
Oh.
2 sequels, right?
What about what is that movie? Jack Frost.
Jack Frost,
Yes.
the
No, not
Oh,
the
no.
Rankin Bass one where Michael Keaton plays
Michael
a
Keaton.
snowman.
Michael Keaton Jack Frost.
Yeah, my boy Michael.
Well,
Where
Michael
it's like,
Keaton
play
is a
this
national
harmonica and I'll
treasure.
come back for a day
As a snowman, mind you.
as a snowman, and I will terrify you
It's like
with my horrible CGI face.
that was
well,
probably
how
not the
about-
best plot of all time, but definitely
How
Michael
about-
Keaton
Get
as a
hit with-
snowman.
How about Krampus?
Oh, dude, Krampus. Krampus plays itself as a horror movie, but it's a dark comedy. Don't let anyone fool you. It's a dark comedy. It's
It is a
hilarious.
dark
That's what
comedy.
I've heard. That's what I've
With
heard.
the guy one of the guys in that movie, you can never take any movie that he's in seriously.
He was in The Office too.
Okay.
You're talking about the kind of the taller, like
bald
balding
guy,
guy.
yeah.
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
gosh. Yes, any movie I see him in, I know it's not going to be taken seriously.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
There's an evil teddy
talking
bear
about
attacks
Creed?
people. Yeah.
Nice. now I gotta see. I didn't know Creed was in it. I would have
Oh
watched
no,
it a long
not
time
Creed.
ago.
It's the like really inappropriate coworker Michael has. The one that every time he's on screen he's cracking some like sexual joke or like being a huge misogynist. It's like in the first episode, he calls Michael while Jan is in the office with him, and like he's on speakerphone and the guy's like saying all this like horrible stuff while Jan is in the office with him.
Oh, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
I can't. Think
Dude,
of
an
his name
evil
right now.
teddy bear
Yeah.
and gingerbread man attack people.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining film.
You want a good Christmas movie? Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Why
heard
am
of
I
this.
not surprised you're the one recommending it?
It's who's the actor?
I don't know. I've never actually seen it, but I've
I
seen
know
like
his name.
things
It's
about
it's
it.
Brandon's favorite actor.
Of course, it's Brandon's
Yeah,
favorite.
It's, oh, what's his name? I gotta remember. If I don't, it's gonna kill me. Keep talking. I'll remember.
while
I'll
you're thinking of
remember.
that,
Yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Classic. My dad and I watch it every year. I love Christmas time. Mm-hmm. My dad, like every member of my family and I have like a specific holiday movie.
Yep.
And Miracle on 34th Street is my dad's and my Christmas movie.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, he's Eureka.
Gary Busey.
Bing.
Gary Busey.
Gary
Okay, you know what?
Busey.
I'll give
Gary Busey is a mass murderer who gets foiled by some basically a waitress, and after he's killed, somehow like his ashes get like mixed up into like gingerbread cookie batter, and he gets cooked into like a killer gingerbread man.
Isn't that the plot of Chucky?
Wow.
Or
Something like that.
like
It's terrible.
Child's Play?
It's really it's scary how bad it is.
This is
But
just
it's
the
Gary
plot of
Busey
Child's
as
Play
a-
with a holiday twist.
And you should see the face of this gingerbread man. That by itself is horrifying enough
Okay.
to not want to watch the
Now I'm
movie.
gonna have to go find this movie and watch it.
I'm sure you
That's
could find it. Like,
Definitely
you
a
could find it for
must-see.
free on
Definitely
YouTube.
wait until Melissa's not in the house, because she might actually get offended by just how disgusting looking this.
Was this
gingerbread
Gary
man is.
Busey after he got released from prison? Didn't he go to prison?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh no. No, I think I'm confusing him with someone else. But yeah, I know who
Maybe.
Gary Busey is.
Yeah.
But he's a little rough. He's a little rough. Probably some desperation there taking a role like that too.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Right?
It's Gary Busey. It could
It's
be anything.
You don't know what you're getting with Gary Busey.
No, you know exactly what you're
Gary-
getting with Gary,
Gary
Busey.
You know what? That's fair.
Oh,
I'll give you that
gosh.
one. How about worst holiday movies? What's the worst
Well,
holiday
I think
movie
we
you've
just
ever
talked
seen?
about some.
Elf.
Elf.
No, I'm
Tyler,
just, I'm
you
just
love
messing.
Elf.
I was kidding. I just want to know you.
You
guys.
love Zoe Deschanel.
I do. I'm a big Zoe fan. I do like her. That's why I watched every season of New Girl like 7 times.
That's true. While we were
never
watching
seen
like new stuff, you're like, I finished New Girl again.
Elf was a good movie.
Yeah, well,
I have
it's
never
enjoyable.
seen New Girl, so I can't
You should
speak
watch
to
it.
that.
It's funny.
All right.
It's really funny. Also,
Chris, how
probably
about
watch.
what's the worst holiday movie you've ever seen?
Worst holiday movie I've ever seen. I don't know if it was technically a holiday movie. It might have been, but it starred Robin Williams and LL Cool J. Toys.
You didn't like Toys?
Terrible movie. Terrible.
Was that the one where he was like, where Robin Williams was like a toy, like a Willy Wonka, but a toy factory instead?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Hence-
make
hence
like
the
toys that like are also weapons of war that have like guns in them.
Maybe. I mean, I've tried to block it out of my memory. I saw this in the theaters and it was just absolutely horrible. Absolutely
what?
horrible. One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Fair. Tyler,
Yeah.
how about you? Worst holiday movie you've ever seen?
That's gonna be difficult because I do tend to avoid holiday movies. But have you ever watched the Hallmark Channel?
Actually, it's basically
No.
my wife's favorite channel.
Just wait for the holiday lineup and just pick something. Chances are it's probably the worst holiday movie you've
It's
It's
like
just the same holiday movie.
They're all literally the same holiday movie.
They're like all
different cast.
romantic comedy
Yeah.
holiday movies.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a hard-working lady, but down on her luck, like can't get the right man, and then the perfect man comes into view. But there's a niche about the whole situation, and he ends up
It's a
falling for her, and they're happily ever
That's
after.
just the plot of every
it's a
rom-com.
Harlequin
Basically.
snowman's.
Basically.
Oh boy.
All right.
Not that I'm
I owe
saying
the punch
there's
card
not
for
a
that one,
few
too.
that I don't enjoy. I've watched a couple of them. Like, well, that was endearing.
Trying to think, like the worst holiday movie I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Probably Jingle All. I mean, not Jingle All the Way.
Home Alone.
Home Alone.
No, Home Alone's fine. Home Alone 4.
That kid is an absolute sociopath. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have just called the police.
He could've.
Instead, he tortured and maimed these two men.
I got a video to show you after.
I've probably seen
So I
it.
was-
I'm sure the civil suits were really terrible afterward.
oh, of course.
Filed by the criminals.
Yeah.
Then he did it all over again in New York with the same two guys. What are the chances? He followed them.
uncanny.
That's what it was. He
Yeah.
followed them.
Macaulay Culkin, mass murderer.
Be careful, man.
Poor Macaulay.
He'll come for you.
Yeah, I know. Macaulay's been rough on his luck for a while now.
No, he's doing good.
So,
Yeah, I know. Actually, that's
You
true.
seen
He's
him,
doing
seen him on
better.
Joe Rogan
He's
recently?
recovered from Neverland.
No, probably like later Home Alone movies, like
The later
where-
Home Alone movies.
Like the third one.
like 3, 4, and 7.
There's a 7?
How many are
Probably.
there?
I think there was only like 4.
4
Are
or
there
5
four?
or something
I
like
think
that.
I've only seen 2 of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, the first 2 with Macaulay Culkin,
Yeah.
because they got different kids for the later movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like the also rans. No thanks. Rather the genuine article.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Like, does Star Wars count as a Christmas movie?
Star Wars is not a Christmas movie.
But they come out in December every year.
It's a holiday season movie.
Star Wars Holiday Special. There we go.
Star Wars Holiday Special. I don't think I've ever seen it actually.
I have.
Isn't that
It's-
the debut of Boba Fett though?
Yeah. That's the only redeeming thing
Yeah.
about it.
Yep. That's pretty cool. I learned that on the Toys That Made Us, by the way. Great Netflix program.
Huh.
Yep. Check that out.
All right. I think we
So-
should. I think we should call it because
I think
we've been
that's
talking
it.
for
I
like
think
over
we-
an hour now.
So yeah, that's probably a good call on your part, producer man.
Thank you. I still have to
Anyway,
edit all this down into something palatable.
what are your
pretty
favorite
palatable.
movies for the holidays? We'd love to hear from you. So give us a comment on the YouTube channel, and we'll look forward to talking with you again, or to you, or at you. At you. At you.
At you.
At me.
At you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Next month. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you later.